Hey everybody, Kathy here, your Maniac, bringing you a new video. I got a couple DMs from people wanting to know about putting on tips with dip powder. So I've made a video. I last minute decided to do a little geometric shape on one of the nails, so you can check that out. This is putting tip application with dip powder over top. Super easy to do. You can buy the tips. Sally Beauty sells them. The ones I use in this video I got from Young Nails. That's just youngnails.com. And I've also used the Sparkle & Co. ones that I like a lot. I was trying out the Young Nails one because they came in an acrylic kit that I bought, and I used the natural tips from Young Nails. Their glue is phenomenal. If you have not ordered anything from Young Nails, they're great. Dip powder, of course, is from Sparkle & Co., my favorite, everybody knows. Check out the video and give us a thumbs up if you like it. All right, so I've cut my nails down. I'm kind of gonna let them regrow out. So because of that, I'm gonna show you how I put on tips with a dip powder. So we're just gonna do 2 nails. I'll show you the whole setup, but I'm just gonna do 2, otherwise this video will be really long. So I've gone through already and prepped my nails, so I cut them down. I have pushed back my cuticle, and I've just used a buffer block to just file really close around the edges to get all of that dead cuticle off of my nail plate. And I'm just gonna go ahead and go through with the Young Nails Protein Bond, which is just gonna give us a really nice adherence to prevent lifting and things like that. So just gonna do a nice coat. You don't want to drench this so it's like pooling up in your cuticles or anything, because that will actually defeat the purpose and cause lifting, which is not what we want. So got that on there, and while that dries for a second, today I'm going to be using the Young Nails natural nail tips. Just come in assorted sizes. The important things when you are picking the size of the nail tip is you want to make sure that it fits from sidewall to sidewall without being too big. You can file these down a little bit. I think I have one of these, I can't remember which one it is, that is just a tiny bit too big, and I am going to be able to file that from the side. I think it might have been that one. So what I'll do is I just want to make sure that it is the right size. So I'm going to grab my file, and I'm just going to kind of file down the sides just a tiny bit. It's not that big, but it is just a little bit too wide. So brush all the dust off that. Yeah, that's a little better. So you want it to fit, see, sidewall all the way around to the other sidewall without going over. And that's gonna ensure that it won't lift off. So we've got, oops, hold it on there straight, sidewall to sidewall. You can clip these too. I just have to file so little that I just used the file real quickly. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and do these 2 fingers. So I'm going to be using the Young Nails nail glue, and what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and grab our nail tip, and we're going to put a little bit of glue into the well. So you can see these tips have a well, which means that they have a little section. You can see it stops right about here. That little section just kind of holds the glue right there in place for you. So we're going to put just a little bit of glue. Now this dries fairly quickly, but you want to also take the time and make sure that you get it on straight. And then we're just going to hold it down while it adheres. And you want to make sure you push it all the way down. You can see all the air bubbles come out. Okay, there we go. See? All right. So let's do one other one here. I'll show you on 2 nails before I do the rest. You want to be careful when you squeeze this glue. It doesn't go all over the place, because it can sometimes. You just firmly push till you can see all those air bubbles come out and it's on straight. So you can see that you can tell that it's adhered all the way across, right? Except that side. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and pull my skin back, and I'm going to try and just dab just a little tiny bit of glue under here. And again, you want to be really careful not to use too much because it's gonna make everything stick. Just hold that in down and let it dry. And my nails are really, really short, so that, of course, does not help keeping the glue from going onto my skin. So you want to be careful with that. All right, okay. So we got those two on. So we're gonna go ahead and take a nail cutter or a tip cutter. And these just fit right inside and chops it off nicely. So you're gonna go a little bit longer than what I want the length to be, so that way I can file and shape them. Okay, perfect. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and just going to cut the corners off here. I'm gonna do just to cut down on the filing time. Okay, so this part you're just gonna go ahead and file the nail into whatever shape it is that you want. I am gonna go ahead and do a coffin shape here. So you go ahead and file that edge, and I'm going just from the side wall all the way across here. Trying not to touch the table so the camera shakes, but it's a little harder to do on yourself than on someone else. And as always, you want to make sure you look at it from all angles so that you know that the shape is what you want it to be. So I've got more of just a tapered square here, but I kind of am liking that. So I think I'll just stop there. Besides, I had a coffin on last week, so change it up a little bit. So try and get them similar length by trying to line up the bottom of my nail so that we can see. Okay, so now that I have them looking the way I want to, we've got our tips placed and filed, and I'm going to go ahead and start in with the dip powder. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with some clear dip. We're going to go ahead and file down the edges of the tip to make it flush with my natural nail. So we're just going to kind of buff or file off these kind of this little ledge that is created by having the tips on there. And you'll see I am not filing on my natural nail. I am only filing on the tip edge. So we want that to be nice and smooth. So see, here you can see there's a definite lip here, right? And I've filed that away here. So I'm scratching on my nail and it just slides right past. Okay, so you can see there's an edge there, here, no edge, goes smooth, okay? So that's what we want. And again, be really careful not to file on your natural nail because you don't want to cause any damage. This is a 150 grit file. It's a medium grit, so it's, you know, it could do some damage if you were rubbing on it quite hard. So just make sure that you're only filing on the tip and not the natural nail. Okay, a little bit more over here. And I just kind of do this by touch. Like I can feel when it's starting to get smooth, and my nail is still protected by the tip that's on here, but I just want to work down this edge so that it's not causing any problems or getting caught or lifting or anything after. So again, just on the tip, that's better. One last pass, I think we'll be good. Yep. Okay, perfect. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab my brush and some Swipe. It's a Young Nails cleanser that I really like using. Okay, and I'm just gonna go ahead and cleanse. I wanna just get all this dust off. And while I'm doing that, I can see that this edge is not really filed flat. So back we go. Just try and get that edge filed flat. There, here we go, try again. All right, now we're talking. Move that out of the way. All right, so since we just cleansed this, let me just put the top on my glue so I don't spill it. I'm sure you guys have seen me spill more than enough stuff. All right, so we're gonna go, since we cleansed that, we are gonna go through with another layer of the Protein Bond, and just on the natural nail. We don't need that really on the tip. Okay. So while that dries, I'm gonna show you, we're gonna set up here. I like to use these little cupcake holders. They're just from the dollar store, to catch any of the dip powder that falls, because it makes a huge mess. So what we're gonna do, our game plan for the dip powder is, we're first gonna go ahead and put some base bond just on the natural nail, just along the edge of where the tip is meets the natural nail. We're gonna do that to kind of just even it out a little bit, and then we'll do a couple more layers of the clear dip. So I'm not gonna get too much base on my brush. I'm gonna kind of wipe that fairly clean, and I wanna just put enough across this spot here, just to kind of give that one more way to level, besides the fact that we already buffed it. And that's just gonna go in the clear dip. Okay, so we're just making it nice and level, if you can see. I don't know if you can really see that well. Just trying to level it out even more so we get nice smooth application once we put the dip powder on here. Okay, so real carefully, put that across the top there. Okay. All right, so just gonna brush off that excess clear, and then we're gonna go in for 3/4. Now this time we're gonna include the tip. So we're gonna go about 3/4 of the nail plate. And as always, we're gonna go all the way to the side wall, but without touching it. We don't wanna get the base bond onto the side wall. Makes it stick and causes lifting, and we do not want that. Well, it's a little hair, or fuzz or something. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing here. 3/4 of the way to the side wall, but not touching it. Piece of glitter in there. Wipe that out of my brush and into the clear. Okay. All right. So now we're just gonna go ahead, dust off the excess, and we're gonna do one last layer of clear dip all the way from the bottom, the cuticle side. Okay, so we're gonna go again all the way down to the cuticle, but not touching it. And this will just give us a nice smooth base for our color application that we're going to do today. Okay. So again, this base bond that we're using is the Sparkle & Co. I really, really like their liquids. Really easy to use. But it is resin, so it does dry fairly quickly, so you want to work quickly. Okay. All right. Now, here's the part that may surprise you. I'm going to go ahead and dust off that excess. That's not the surprising part. Dust off the excess here, so you can see. And I'm going to go ahead and put a coat of Solidify. All right, so that's our step number 3 that we usually do at the end before we file. But I want this to be super smooth before I put the color on there. And in order to do that, I have to use the Solidify to make it hard, or else I'm gonna go to use the buffer and it's just gonna come right off. Okay, so I'm gonna give that Solidify just a minute. Use that again later. And while that is kind of hardening up, I'm just gonna set up my colors that I'm gonna be using. Sparkle & Co. I know I've mentioned it 1.5 million times. They have the most awesome subscription bag. This color came in the subscription this month, the May subscription bag, which was taco themed. You guys, this is my new taco bag that came in my subscription. Super cute. It came with a little koozie. And I know I didn't do a unboxing video yet, but maybe I'll do that soon. A little taco themed koozie for a drink. So that will come in handy this summer. So this color Nacho Average Blue I'm going to use today, along with one of the new releases in the Sparkle & Co. line called North Star Glow. So this is a glow in the dark color, and it's just a white, but I thought it would pair really cool with this Nacho Average Blue. So those are what we're gonna use, okay? So now the Solidify has had time to set in. I'm just gonna take a buffing block and I'm just gonna buff this smooth. And my only goal with this, I'm not trying to get rid of this clear powder by any means. I just wanna make sure that it's perfectly smooth before I start putting on any of the colored powder, because then it's just gonna cause me a lot more work later on, okay? So when you're normally finishing your dip, you buff and then you solidify again and then glossy coat. Well, instead of doing that, after we buff, we're gonna go ahead and just dust off the excess and then go back in with the base bond and continue with the color, okay? Use the file for this here. I seem to have a little edge issue. Okay, all right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the North Star Glow as my accent, and I actually am thinking about doing a kind of a geometric look. So let's see how we go here. So we're gonna grab our base bond again. Okay. All right, so let's try. So again, full coat from the cuticle edge, but not touching it. I know I say it every time, but if I don't remind you, someone will write on the page and say, or in the comments, I got the brush all over. You don't want that. All right, so let's do maybe a little cross this way, and then maybe a little cross this way. All right, this grab this, put it on here without getting the blue in the white. No, not fast enough. Okay, so see, it didn't stick. It's just because it dried before we got to it. I'm telling you, we all need practice. Okay. Kind of cool. All right, so this time we're gonna see if we can't be a little quicker. Okay. Sorry, my hand is shaking because I'm like suspending it over top of the cupcake liner here. Okay, so white up to the line we had it before, or thereabout. Gonna do blue. And hurry with the white, hurry, hurry, hurry. Some of it stuck that time. Cool. It's a little different, huh? Okay, so once we dust this, this white will come off of the blue. Hopefully the blue will come off of the white. Here we go. Ta-da! Not too bad. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do full white on this one, and then we'll do blue on these three. So, same principles. This is, if you're brand new to dipping, I'll put a card in the corner there for you for my beginner's dip. Super step-by-step. If you're brand new to dipping powder, you know, there's some tricks to it, and I'm not gonna lie, there is a learning curve. It takes a while to get the hang of it. And even people like me who've been doing it for quite some time, like we still, you know, like you saw with the color there, wasn't fast enough. So it takes a little bit of trial and error, but I promise if you stick with it, it will be worth it. I love using dip powders. They're just so phenomenal to work with. I love how strong they are. Pretty good. All right, so I'm gonna pull my clear dip back out because I want to just do a clear coat. And I always do this. There's, people go back and forth about, you know, I've heard both sides. They like clear dip over top, they don't, whatever the reasons are. Some people say it makes it cloudy or changes the colors or things like that. I don't personally find that to be the case. I put the clear dip over because when I go to buff this, I don't want that sparkle to come off. I don't want all the color to start coming off. So I always just put a clear dip over top, and then that eliminates me having to worry about how much I'm buffing. I'm one of those people, like, I need to get the feel of it right. I need it to be smooth, because if I'm running my fingers over it, you know, if I'm sitting there and I'm running my fingers over my nails, if there's a bump, it will really bother me. And I'll just be irritated and grumpy, and nobody wants that. Trust me. All right, so we're gonna go in with step number 3, Solidify. Okay, now that we're done, we've got that clear coat on top, and we're just gonna go ahead and put a generous amount of the Solidify. And again, this is gonna harden that dip powder. It's gonna harden the base that we're using to adhere the dip powder. Make it nice and hard. Okay, move these out of the way. All right. I like it, it's different. A little geometric shape. We're fancy, right? All right. Okay, so I'm just gonna go through and buff this smooth. If you have an electric file, I have an electric file. I do use it a lot of the time. It just depends on what mood I'm in. I just don't feel like pulling it out today, so I'm not gonna. And also, there are a lot of people that don't have an electric file, so I just wanna make sure that I cover all bases, because if you don't have one, you still wanna do your nails, then all good. I didn't have one for a while, and that takes some getting used to as well, so what's important when you are buffing, I'll just say again, as I always do, is you wanna make sure that you smooth out the sidewall edge and the cuticle edge. You want to make that as smooth as possible. So you can see how your nail comes gradually up, right, out of that sidewall. And you want to do the same thing with the dip. You want to get it so that it's nice and smooth coming up. And this is the time you want to get all the imperfections out so that it looks perfect. Perfect. I would like this line to be a little bit more spot on. It's harder to correct with the dip powder when you're doing it like this. All right, so we're gonna go in with our second coat of Solidify, and this is just gonna make sure that dip powder gets super tough. Okay, all over there. And then we'll go for our glossy. This color is so pretty. I hope you can see how like gorgeous and sparkly that is. Nacho Average Blue, it's called. So clever. Christy's such a good, they're so good at naming these colors. So fun. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead with Glossy Coat number 1. And as always, we're gonna do this twice. We do one glossy coat, and by the time we get back around to it again, it will be ready to go. Just move this out of the way. Bugging me. Okay. And this is gonna give it just a really, really gorgeous shine. Woohoo! All right. So there you go. It was a total impromptu little design, but I kind of like it. All right, so we've got those 2 ready to go. I'm gonna pop on the other 3 tips and then I'll show you how it comes out. All done. What do you guys think? Thanks so much for joining us today. I really hope you enjoyed this tip application with dip powder over top. Super easy to do, something you can totally do at home. Again, Sparkle & Co. has a fantastic referral program. I'll put the details down in the notes section, but basically what you need to know, sparkleandco.com. Any orders that you place, you get a $9 credit, as will I if you put Kathy DeSoto, my name, in the notes section when you check out. If you are into subscriptions at all, I've got so much great stuff from the subscriptions from Sparkle & Co. I even just upgraded to their I Want It All bag, which includes gel, polish, as well as the dip powder, and it's phenomenal. The quality of the products is so great. If you want to sign up for the subscription, they've got everything from the Itty Bitty, which starts at $12.99. The basic dip bags, the basic gel bag, and the Surprise Me bag are $29.99 per month. If you do subscribe to one of those or anything above that, like the Luxe bag or the I Want It All bag, you and I can each get an $18 store credit if you put Kathy DeSoto in the notes at checkout. So if you have any questions about subscription, dips, Sparkle & Co., and as always, hit the comments down below with any ideas for upcoming videos. You know I love to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much for watching. We'll talk to you later.